and Carl and myself. Carl is vice mayor, I'm the mayor. We have the town attorney here, and Megan, and of course Belinda, which I think you've been doing today already. Let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. We're going to pledge, and then we'll go to order. Oh, workshop, sorry. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good deal. So, I just covered roll call on this, so we're all here, and we're going to let JR here. She's representing Safefield, and they have got us a post thing right here for you guys. Did you all get one?
No, that one.
And we can look at, and she's going to do a presentation for us what she can over the phone, and we're going to let her have the floor first, so then we can get on with what we want to do here. Okay, JR, I think the floor is yours.
Okay, can everyone hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, great. So my name is Jay Riley. I am the client service manager for the whole of the Southeast Territory. My background is in land development consulting and community development for small areas. And so that's why Safefield sort of brought me on board to handle the outlying southeastern part of the U.S. So with that being said, I understand your pain points very well, just because of background experience. And my parents are from a small city that only has 2,000 people. So I have intimate and professional knowledge of the struggles. So I'm just going to go down the line and make it very easy, and I'm going to move slow. In case there are any questions, just stop me. So first off, Safefield was established some time ago in '85. We are now offering services to 31 cities throughout the U.S. Some of those cities, we are their complete building department staff. We handle everything for them, short of the maintenance duties. So with that being said, let's start at the top. So when we say comprehensive building department services, gentlemen, that means anything that any municipality would have staff and personnel for. We bring those customized solutions to your city. We implement them with our own software, which is called Community Core. You all are trained on how to use the software. You will choose how many licensing you will use for users for the software. This software allows you to see all of your permitting activity. It allows us to keep track of your permitting activity so that we can give you reports that are real time, so we can show you things that are actually happening in the community when they happen, not when you're going to follow up with possibly, enforcement or magistrate actions. So we keep that data in place for all of our clients so that we can generate a report once a month. So I've been speaking to Mayor Pageant about some of your challenges. I do know that you all just, and correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't a Walmart recently built or is in planning?
No.
Nothing here.
No, okay, it's near you guys. Yeah, that's what my intel is telling me.
Walmart's been here for many years.
We have a Walmart down in Chiefland, about 13 miles from here, super.
Yes. So I'm just letting you all know that when these things come into play, like say for instance, you had a large, for lack of a better word, developer coming to town, and he wanted to do a small medical center and maybe some outlet of retail. And so we're always be in place to handle anything that may come on the horizon that you had not planned for by having us as your partner. So the Safe Build Community Core Technology Platform allows us to streamline your processes. We can even innovate new processes with your permitting activity as well. The other thing that really helps, I would say, municipalities like yourself, is you don't get so many complaints from your neighbors. The complaints go down because we're actually improving the efficiency, and so that means that it's going to be faster permit processing and turnaround. The other thing that I don't think most municipalities realize how much it is to actually have employed staff in place that you're not using 365 days a year. So I'll break that down. Let's say I'm Betty. So I come in as your building inspector. The going salary for building inspector is usually anywhere from 78 and up, depending on their credentials and so forth. So I'm just sitting there because there's nothing for me to do. And so, but you're still paying me. But having an outsourced partner like ourselves, you may have those 3 inspections that you need us for. And so that's going to end up being, it could be one of 2 ways. I would say your best cost-saving way, gentlemen, would be hourly. So you think about it. I'm sitting here, and you're only going to pay me, let's say, $200, because that's all the work I do. But if I'm employed by you, you're going to pay me $78,000 plus automobile, plus benefits, plus pension, depending on how you are set up. Would you guys not agree to that?
We understand the concept of all that. We're definitely in agreement with the hourly rate and things. I think we're, for the sake of time of it, we have a full understanding that we definitely need to be a piecework situation with you guys. And
okay, who is that speaking?
Zoom Paget. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's right. We're not on video. You can't see us. I'm sorry. The development part of it, of the process of how it's going to work, the estimation of review times and those kinds of stuff, and what is it you're expecting the town to provide you is what those are the issues that we need to know so we can prepare our staff.
Great question. So the only thing that I need from you all, you guys have a current professional service agreement in place that I think was sent to you in February. I believe it was February. And so anyway, I would have to look at that and possibly update that as well, because it may be some changes that are actually in your favor.
Right.
And the other thing too is how quickly are you looking to bring us on board? And the other thing that I really need to know is what does your permitting activity look like monthly and annually?
It can go years with no permits, and then you could probably have, you can have 3 this year. This year we would have had several, obviously, but that is unusually high. We'll have some minor stuff, water heaters, which I'm pretty certain that most of our residents aren't going to come let us know they're changing the water heater, but we do know. Well, we know that it is the permit process there, but the roofs, the roofings, stuff like that. These little single inspection stations, permits, 1 or 2 inspection kind of things. It's probably going to be the majority of what we have. We would love for it to do somebody to come in and start building houses, but the market here is pretty restrictive on the resale and also on the availability of the spots to build. Is also restricted very heavily.
Okay.
That would be nice to get a Dollar General or something to come in, a gas station, a Circle K or something of that nature. But our town population is 100 plus or minus, and we're 35-mile circle around us. There's nothing. We're the center of this 35-mile circle, and there's nothing between us and that 35-mile ring. So it's the proper, and there's 2 major highways that go through that really would support some of this stuff, but we don't have the residential population that they're looking for to support the stores. Dollar General has a minimum of 300 houses and in a 2-mile radius. We're about half of that right now, and so that's not that's not a realistic thought at this time to them unless we can get some more in here. But it's just not. We're not expecting any big growth, and we're not trying to say that's what's going to happen here. But we do need to be prepared for it. But our main goal is to take care of these little permits, so the residents can have adequate service for what they're doing. And if someone wants to upgrade their place, which right now we're working with the church, wants to upgrade their fire suppression system.
Oh, great.
And but stuff like that. There's very minimal of that now. It's not a lot. There's a commercial store up here that has a commercial kitchen in it. So there's probably something there one day that goes on again. And there's one RV park in town, and there's mine's the second one, which is opening up. Those will be ongoing with stuff. I'm sure is going to require permits for things and just to be upgraded. Other than that, there's a wood shop in town, which I think the permit process is pretty much covered for now.
Okay.
There's not a lot of growth to be expected, but we're hopeful.
Okay. Well, I will share my insight on that is that a lot of times when you attend these different conferences and so forth, and you can begin to also work with some of our staff members that are in our planning, and they are able to maybe give you some insight as to structure your comp plan to include long-range development that is strategy and very planned. So that's a consideration as well.
As far as our building ordinances and resolutions that we have, it supports our building codes that we have in town, which of course, it's mostly for land development, probably the zonings and that process is a really long process. I think the town has the authority to choose and make out these things, but I know the building portion of it is all regulated by the state, and we meet all the state building codes. Those things are part of the permit. But deciding so people can have a format to look at, does my property qualify for this, and what can I do, and what's the process to make that change? That's what the town's got to work on. That's what I was meaning by we need to know how detailed we need our ordinances to be in hand or updated. They got to be to support.
Yes, that's coming in.
Yeah.
So I would actually need a copy of those. If you could supply me with that, please.
We can do that, and
Okay.
I'd like to get to, if you could, because these workshops are here so we can, because this is the thing that's on the table, the hot spot on the table is building, because we got to get the building department going. The county has stopped doing it for the town, and we are trying to, we got kind of put in that from the previous administration, so we kind of got thrown on us. But if we can get that to you so you can look at that and take a little bit of time, let's go over a couple things on it so we can start focusing in our workshops to bring that up to standard. what the standard is and what fits the rules and regulations. Right now, there's been so many exceptions in our town made, it's kind of hard to say we can enforce these ordinances because there's been so many exceptions made in the past, just allow their friends to do whatever. That's
Okay.
kind of really puts us in a spot here.
So may I interject something, please?
Yeah.
So basically, you need to beef up your ordinances.
Correct.
You need to. So that's what we call our improvement plan. And that is done by our planners in our Central Florida office. So we actually are getting ready to meet with another city to do the exact thing. We're going to review what they currently have in place.
Okay.
And then we're going to direct them on how to rewrite them, or they're going to contract with us for us to write and update them. We're currently implementing code and ordinances for a city in Georgia as well. So I'm just letting you know that's something that we do, that's in our wheelhouse. So we call it our improvement plan.
Right.
Yeah, so.
And how would that structure, I mean, just bottom line is, everything's a budget, everything's about money. And this process that you're talking about, what kind of expectations is that for someone, for us to expect that would cost, for someone to do that? But keep in mind, something that I think we should do, if we're going to go that route, those people that are going to be the ones that's drafting this up, they need to come spend a day or two in our town. It probably won't take that long. But just walk through the town and see it, because our town is very unique in a lot of ways. It's just hometown people and not much else out here. It just needs, well, with these rules, we don't want everybody in town to say, well, hey, we're making this to Miami now, or Tampa.
Oh, no. The rules, I mean, when a planner reviews a city, he has to take into consideration the lay of the land. That's really where they started from. You cannot bring ordinances and variances that fit, let's say, in Atlanta. You can't bring to Otter Creek, Florida, for the simple reason you don't have the population to support it, you don't have the activity to support it. So it's a whole different aspect of common improvement writing or common upgrades.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, but that's important that we keep this in the hands of the people that live in this town, so that they feel that they mean something as well in this process.
No, we hold our meetings. They are, the public is totally invited, with the contributory, the stakeholders, all of that is engaged. It is just as if you would be writing. We would act the same way that you all would act. I hope that, did I articulate that?
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure that we keep that in mind if we go that route. That is what needs to be done on that part. Can keep consideration.
And as far as that will be done, some of that, the majority of that will be done remote. They would naturally have to do a site visit periodically, but the majority of the updating would be done virtual and remote, because they are in Central Florida.
Okay.
But they would be visiting because they would have to.
Oh, yeah, we understand that.
Yeah, so, and the other aspect you asked about cost, our planners are paid hourly, and this is going to be a senior planner, so we know anytime you add senior to someone's title, so we're looking at $100 per hour and above.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Usually they're able to get, if it's nothing too stringent, that has to be done. I don't think yours are that out of date. I really don't.
The rules, the guidelines are probably not out of date. The exceptions have been made so many times on this. Probably that's the hindrance that I see coming.
Oh, that's an easy fix, man. That's an easy fix. Yeah.
All right.
So now we could do a follow-up call so that we could look at the agreement that you actually have on hand, and so that we can both look at that at the same time and go over it and see what needs to be removed, what needs to be added, what is being revised per our new rate. All of that can be discussed in that subsequent meeting if that works for you.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was definitely the direction to step forward to.
Okay.
I mean, now again, the decisions would be voted upon at the council meeting, which we all kind of get the terms all worked out, and then we'll go to a vote.
Okay.
And go that route. But you got to keep in mind, our town operates on a budget of about $70,000 or less a year. That's total operational cost. I mean, that's everything.
That's everything. So what do you have allocated for the building department?
We don't.
Okay.
We don't have any, we don't have no sources to get this money. So that's my issue on the letting the planner to do it, or let's fumble our way through it and get the council to do it. The council's already here, and we have a very, very smart attorney that tells us when we need to get the bigger book out and start looking again. So it's, I don't think we would have a budget to pay someone $10,000 to go through that.
Okay.
To make that process, and I can't imagine it being done for less than 100 hours. Time you go through the whole process and get everything updated with the town. I know the town doesn't have that budget, but that's not for me to say at this point in time. We are having our budget and planning meeting soon, so we will be discussing all that. That's kind of why I wanted to pinpoint it out tonight, so that we can say, hey, this is coming, and where we're going to get it from.
Okay. So, it's great that we have got down to the nuts and bolts of this, because when I came on board and I was reviewing the accounts and the data that was sitting there, and that was my reason for reaching out to you, because I wanted to know where you all stood, what was going on, why was this left, how shall I say, so vaguely.
Right. Well, we appreciate all that. Have you got anything else you need for us to touch on, or?
No, that's it for me. Do any of the council members have any specific questions for me?
Anybody?
No, not at all.
No, I think we're good on that.
And I'll get those, the buildings, items over to you tomorrow, JR.
That's Belinda talking.
Okay.
She said
I heard her.
okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, and I enjoyed it. Even though we didn't get a chance to see each other, there's always another time.
Yep, maybe we can get that Zoom thing working better next time.
I'm going to walk you guys through it. I understand. It can be a bit overwhelming at first, believe me.
All right, well, thank you, JR, and we will look forward to talking to you again.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So I'll get that over to her and go from there.
Yeah, that's definitely, I was hoping to get more out of it, but I just can't, I can see this going to take another hour to get to going the other way, trying to discuss some of these things we want to look at. When do you expect that we can get, I'm sorry, I'm back it up. When can I meet you and get that whole bunch of things?
Anytime, tomorrow,
Tomorrow sometime?
Thursday, whatever works.
Okay. I'll let you get it back to you so you can start, we're gonna whole bunch these get in there so we can get in, maybe we can get somebody to help you with it.
Won't take me long.
Won't take long.
No, won't take me.
Yeah.
Just don't take puppets. I will be
I'm scared for
happy.
someone to pick them up, because the things get dumped out, and I can see you coming, you might lose it.
No, just either one, we'll let that truck get you a bottle of water, we hold it, and you put them all back together. If my husband did not breathe around me.
Well, no, I wouldn't want to, out there with all that. Well, I don't, what's y'all's take on this?
I feel like, at least at the beginning, she did not understand how small this town is.
I don't think she does, and I've talked
I
to
think they need
her
to
about it.
visit before they
Yeah.
make plans.
I've talked to her about it multiple times, trying to explain it to her, and she keeps going back to this 2,000, 3,000.
This new Walmart thing, I don't know where she got that from. That Walmart's been there forever.
Yeah, there's no, unless there's something in the
Somewhere
works in
in town,
Bronson somewhere, I can't imagine doing it in Bronson.
No.
Yeah,
Mm.
I don't know, but they don't realize how tight our budget is on doing this thing. That's what's going to be the kicker. But now, we did talk, Belinda and I talked today on the permit processes. You know, we're not going to know what these fees are going to be until the actual time to issue the permit, just like the county doesn't. They don't tell you. You go in and say, how much the permit's going to be? Don't know. But there's like I think the county has like $100-something fee you turn that permit application for, which you would pay that, and that process, that gets the process started, and then they go through the reviews to get it all done, and then they come back, this is what our inspection schedule will be, this is the things you meet or don't meet, and then you gotta get it compliance, and then it goes in, and now we have an idea how many inspections, what the hours they're gonna have spent on it. And now we can say, this is what your fee is, and that's, right now, when you go for a new home in Bronson or Lee County, the permit fees are $5,000, $6,000. It's not, there's no easy task on there, there are easy numbers, and they got to cover the cost too. And they have the volume to say we can do this on these lower scales. We don't have that volume. We don't have a minimum fees every time someone touches something. It's it's likely to be 1.5 times what their fees are doing here. It might be more for the permit process. So we're gonna take the blunt of that, and everybody's gonna say that's us, but it's progress that's put upon us that we got to enforce the books, so we put it on us now. We gotta get it there. Does anybody, I don't see a need to try to dig into something else at this late. So y'all got something specific you want us to touch on?
I wanted to just run through this ordinance, and when I say run through, I just had a couple of questions and thoughts I want to make y'all aware of, as I think we're inclined to put it on our next meeting agenda, so I just want to talk to you a little bit about that. So what you have before you is a draft of the animal control ordinance that I've worked on, and you can obviously take your time and look at it. It was really directed at the main things we talked about in our initial workshop: loose dogs, and having them on a leash, dangerous dogs as defined by the statute and the process that the statute sets forth, aggressive dogs, and then there's obviously some more minor things with regard to nuisance animals, barking, things like that. I will tell you, I kind of intentionally stayed away from enforcement of rabies vaccines, things like that. I didn't get the sense that was the direction you guys were going for, or what you were looking for in this ordinance. If you want me to add that in, feel free and tell me, and I'll be glad to. But really, the two biggest things I wanted to bring to your attention, and I think both of them are doable, and I think it will overflow to more than this ordinance. But first being we talked about the ability to bring animals to Lee County Animal Shelter. And so my suggestion would be, if they're so willing, is that we get an MOU together with them, a memorandum of understanding. And it's nothing crazy, nothing binding, but basically just a reciprocal acknowledgement that they will accept the animals that we bring to them, so that we don't enact this and then have nowhere to put these animals.
Okay.
So that would be my first thought. And then the second thought is, keep in mind, as with any ordinance, it's got to have some teeth to it. It's got to have some enforcement mechanism. And so what this contemplates is basically a way, obviously, for us to impound dangerous dogs, and also to enforce or create and then enforce civil penalties where they have to pay to get their dog back. And again, hopefully some of that will be to cover the cost of our animal control officer, and the actual fees incurred transporting these dogs or animals to Lee County Animal Shelter, things like that. So the problem is, how do you mandate enforcement of those civil citations? Usually it's through a special magistrate. And again, that becomes relevant when we talk about permitting, and same thing, I mean, anyone that has an objection or a challenge, it would likely go through the same process. So just wanted to kind of bring that to your attention, because again, when we talk about enforcement of these ordinances we're drafting, I'm guessing ultimately we'll need a special magistrate to be able to hear any challenges to those and resolve them. So just two things I wanted to kind of put on your radar to think about. And again, the MOU is really easy, but the special magistrate, I think, becomes applicable for other enforcement that we need to go after in connection with other ordinances. And so just something, like I said, to think about and consider that in the budget as well, what that looks like. Although hopefully some of the cost of that can be offset again through the penalties themselves.
No, the magistrate would have to select. You have a hearing someplace, or a courthouse.
Correct. Usually it's a lawyer that's done kind of local government work for a couple of years. I can tell you, like Hamilton County, just to give you an example, they have 3 small municipalities, White Springs, Jennings, Jasper. They combined, and they got a special magistrate for all 3 of theirs, and would schedule hearings, once a month at the courthouse. And that way, obviously, they shared the cost of that. I don't know if that's something other municipalities in the county would be open to, but just kind of give you an idea.
Just a note there is a bond issue that came about on the, for Frank to be able to do this, maybe he has to carry a bond as an individual. But, when they check with our insurance company, if we bring him on, he came in, he's come in as a volunteer situation, one of the bond would have to be inflicted. But we brought him in as some kind of a pay sort of, so he would be on payroll, not necessarily weekly payroll, but as a need.
As needed, she said, yeah.
As needed basis, and it would be, that would cover that policy, our policy would cover that bond situation, so that goes away. But that is, again, that's a cost factor. We would have to pay him something, which we talked about for the class, something there. That would be the justification for some of the time, and then to make that happen. And that happens in October, so we've got to make that decision, I'm guessing, at the next meeting. We go to that place. And the only issue we had was the bond. And now that seems to have worked itself out, so we're covered on that.
She said that was the least expensive way and the easiest way to solve that, especially if it was going to be just a here and there. Nothing constant, maybe once every 3 months, maybe once every 6 months. It was just easier to bring him in, treat him as an employee, even if it's just an employee under contract.
Yeah, even it's just public relations with people that have the dogs, to make that, so it's not such we're not after your dog, we just don't want your dog biting you. That's all. And we really aren't after anyone's dog. We don't want their dog, we want them to keep their own dog, but we want them to keep their dog themselves. They don't push
Not
it
running around attacking people, animals.
Yeah, or other people's animals. Right? We had one dog that was killed in town a couple weeks ago, or a cat was killed by a dog. I know there's been multiple reports of the dogs in the on Otter Creek Avenue here, has been multiple reports of their dogs attacking people on Black Road. All right, so just take that in and just prepare for a vote on that for the meeting. And unless someone's got something else, just we'll call it. Anything else you want to do?
Your books, I've got all your books together.
No, that's what she said.
Well, if they're too big, I can decorate them down. On your green, in the green books is the land development regulations as well as the comprehensive plan. So you guys can be informed as to, not just one person in this office knows what's going on. You can answer a question, this is what I can, okay? Then the bigger books are all of the resolutions and all of the ordinances, okay? What is going to happen is, once I hand these books to you, you're going to sign off saying I gave it to you. When you leave your position, they have to come back. Or you will have to do something to include it, because this is a lot of copying but there's going through all of the stuff in the past, organized, and there were 6 or 8 copies of this, or 6 or 8. But I spent more time trying to organize that and got nowhere. So it was easier to say, don't look as I put it in the recycle bin, because that just bothered me. But there was no way to just, I got to spend hours trying to figure it. No, I don't need to do this copy too, just, you guys all have books, and they're all the same. So you have everything that deals with town hall. And everything that we talked about, and
Okay. All right, I will, everybody's good? You got any questions or anything you want?
No, sir. Thank you for asking them.
No problem. We'll call it away. I appreciate you guys coming out, and at least we got a lot of stuff on the table. I got a lot of detail we got to have to bring your head with.
well, remember, you guys, I'll see you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And you would, unless you leave, this is just a tentative, and tomorrow's going to, and I'll give you the back perfect.
Yeah, that's great.
And I'll get a bunch of you guys here.
Do you have a resolution for tentative?
I didn't know I had to have it.
I'll do it. I'll send it to you tomorrow.
That was the little thing that I was.
Resolution for tentative village budget, resolution for final village budget.
Okay, see, like I said, somebody else started this with me before, and I just sort of picked up and I learned.
I'll draft it.
Because along with that, we got a copy of the calendar. We have our tentative meeting for the trim is tomorrow night. Our actual budget will be in 2 weeks following that, it's on the calendar. And at that time, we will go over our operating budget as well. Okay, what we're doing now is strictly for our village, which is where we did our ad valorem taxes, to your property taxes. Where we'll come up with a rate, and this is what we have to have, and, because we don't always get all of that money. Okay, sometimes we get more, sometimes we get less, so, I'm working on right now, with no more spending. For the next 3 weeks, we will stay under budget. The non-bond budget will still, for the first time, we will have a working budget for the auditors. Okay? And then we'll make our new one coming up. If there's anything that you foresee that we need to put in this budget, we have repairs we're going to finish. We have an estimate of what it's going to cost us to finish our ceiling and the renovations here on the town hall. And if you can think of anything that, that we might need to add, have nothing for the dog catcher, we have nothing for building inspector. That's something we're all gonna just have to throw numbers out and just put it in there.
And the biggest increase was our insurance.
Yeah,
It's the biggest increase this year.
well, we went from 11 to 22, so,
Doubled it.
Yeah.
yeah. But we also went from $305,000 to a little over $1 million in value of our assets. So that was, Yeah. we can, so we had to justify a hurricane Make it match what we needed to cover since I'm happened, so, you know, and that's to be expected. I mean, just so surprised at the end results, but, so, we are in the stages of opening up our new, grants. I'll give you more information and I presume we'll talk about it at the meeting.
Yeah.
That'll be on the list of what's coming out, what's going on with those.
Do you do the grant research then?
I haven't done grant research in a long time. Right now, it's farmed out to, Fred Fox Enterprises out of Jacksonville.
Okay.
He does a lot of the municipalities around here. But no, it's been a long time since I've wrote grants.
I was wondering about that. He is overseeing all that, handling all that.
Yeah, there are a lot of people out there right now that are willing to help us. And there's so many grants now coming out. So we've got the playground, we've got so many everything, and I'm printing them off saying, okay, y'all look and tell me which one are we applying for, you know. But I'm learning that we can only have so many grants at one time. And that's like, but man, those are gonna come for a while, and we need this every year. But that's not how it works, you know, so our biggest thing is the two that we have got to finish them and be done totally by February of 2026. So it's coming down to the wire.
And those two are
Our
community
water,
center?
our community center and our water.
A year and a half, basically.
And it just so happens that we all know a little bit about construction, so it's not like they're gonna be able to just tell us something and we're gonna comply with it, because that's not how this works. You know, I know the process quite well. So,
All right, this is, we good?
we're good.
Good.
This works out really well.
Perfect, thank you.